What is up, wrestling world? This is the Spotlight Series. I'm your host, Ryan. We are live from Queens, New York.
It would have been the Bronx.
It would have been, but I wasn't trying to get stabbed on my day off right before I go on vacation. But yeah, joining me one half of Murder by Kicks, Matt Travis. What's going on, Matt?
Yeah, everything all good, man. You mean, hold on, not just Matt Travis.
Yeah, get it.
I mean, Mr. Young Capo.
I'm more than thankful to Brian XL and Amazing Red for letting me come out here and talk to Matt. It's all leading up to High Intensity 6, coming up August
18th.
Yeah. And that is right in the heart of Queens at Amazura. I've been talking to you pretty much daily for a while now.
For a while.
And, that's how me and Matt became close, turned into helping people.
Yeah. A little bromance, if you will.
Sure, man. I believe in you and Ken. I believe in House of Glory and their product and the stars that they're creating, because a lot of indie companies don't try and create stars. They try to go out and get the newest and the brightest.
Yeah, that already have momentum, and then like to claim that they made them.
Yep.
And say that they groomed them, built them. I mean, that's cool for what it is, but
sure,
that's what make me appreciate Amazing Red more and Brian XL more.
Absolutely.
As talent and as leaders, because you don't have a lot of leaders, especially these old veterans or so-called veterans, and they don't like the help. They just want to drink the Kool-Aid for when the Kool-Aid is good, and then live off of it, maybe.
Yeah, man, I get that completely. And it's just maybe it's because I'm a little bit older that I have that mentality of I want to see characters mixed with amazing grappling and high flying and striking. And that's probably why I gravitated towards you and Ken. I mean, the first time that I saw you guys wrestle live was at High Intensity 5.
Yeah.
So it's about a year ago. Kind of funny how how this is working out.
Yes. I like to think my mentality for that day was, if I die, I die on some Drago shit. If you can curse, I'm sorry. On some Drago stuff,
Of course you can curse.
No, I don't want to curse. It's for the children. I'm for the children.
For the children.
For the children.
Red gonna come for you if you start cursing.
No, not in that way, brother. I was gonna say, I would like to think my mentality from day one, even from when I was born, that anything I do, I'm willing to die for, because I'm not the type to dapper in things and then be half-assed. Like, never. If I'm into something, I'm gonna be into it all the way.
Of course.
Whether it was the streets, I didn't think I was gonna live past 18, to be honest with you, because I was heavily involved with, the streets in the Bronx and stuff like that. I was in the loop. I have friends that's dead right now, that wouldn't have thought I would be here wrestling, and I used to talk to wrestling. I used to talk about wrestling with them. They appreciated it, respected it, but so whatever I do, I put my all into. If I die, I die. I don't care. If I live, it's a legend, it's a legend to tell the tale to my grandchildren that look what your crazy grandfather did. He was 20 years old, 21,
Yeah, man.
All I knew is when I first started talking to you, you was building your podcast, and I love seeing people grow, especially good people, man. Good, smart, genuine people that want to see people grow. Because I'm the same way, but if you're, a douchebag or whatever, I'm not gonna want to see you thrive. I could care less about you. But with you, it's different, You actually have love for the sport, the art, A lot of people don't have that. Everybody want to be famous. Everybody want to be, known for something. Everybody want to be, like, just popular and stuff like that. I'm not into that, man. I'm about the art, creating new things, creating new history. It's like what Stan Hansen told me, back in the days, they never, when a guy get hurt or whatever, they don't just be like, hey, let's finish the matchup or whatever.
Take it home, brother.
Take it home. And what he told me, they never called spots or anything like that back in the days. And I love that stuff, because nowadays I feel like me and Ken try not to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Everything, all the emotion, everything, we go in the ring with that. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. And the thing that I love about you two is the chemistry. But Ken can go in there by himself and be his own star, and then you can roll in and you turn in to this amazingly well-oiled unit where it's like a couple of those sequences that were, if you haven't seen the show, where it's like kick into the ripcord capo
roundhouse
into the
kick.
and-
Roundhouse kick, ripcord capo, currency kick.
yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
it's stuff like that where it's so seamless and so smooth, but it still feels so
Gutter.
I was gonna say the same
gutter.
thing.
Yeah.
It feels gutter, and it just what do I describe your style as? That
That Super Junior, New York City, grimy.
yeah, and
Which
that's-
definitely perfectly describes, how I feel about my art.
yeah, of course.
And what we throw in the ring. Because being that Ken's from Harlem, he was born in the projects. He don't live there no more now. He don't moved on up like the Jeffersons, but he got that as well. And
Yeah.
us growing up as fans of MMA and old school Japan
Yeah.
and all this stuff, we want to be that. We want to be looked at those young guys that got that old school feel with that new school, indie,
Twist.
if you could say that indie, sports entertainment style.
Yeah, definitely.
And we mix it all together and make, ghetto strong style,
Yeah, man.
Everybody want to have or want to be, everybody want to mix up styles and make this hybrid of a style that's already been done. And
Sure.
we don't want to look like them or because a lot of those people who, how can I say, a lot of those people with that style, they just want to get the pop from the crowd. I could care less about what the crowd think or feel. They could throw streamers, they could throw tissue. I don't care about that. At the end of the day, I like me looking dangerous in the ring.
Yeah, sure.
I like feeling that I could hurt somebody for real.
It goes a long way
Yeah.
with the crowd. I look at it, then that's partial to how I connected with your style and then how we connected as becoming friends over the last few months.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a long discussion about
serial killers.
Matt's love for serial killers last time we were in the car.
Snuff gore videos.
Oh, no.
That's where I get my inspiration.
Matt, what was your first encounter with professional wrestling?
My first encounter with professional wrestling
Yes.
might have been 3 to 4 years old, and this might have been my first memory of life. Period. Was Psychosis, AAA, Lucha Libre, because my dad hated American wrestling. I don't know why. He respected it, but he hated the characters. It was too gimmicky, if you will.
Sure.
He
The
loved
cartoon characters.
Cartoon characters. He disliked it a lot. He liked, of course, Hulk Hogan, Razor Ramon, but the style was too slow for him. And
Sure.
I used to hate watching Telemundo 5 in the morning on a Saturday. He forced me to watch it, forced me, and I hated it.
Do you speak Spanish, Matt?
Yes, I do. I'm not too fluent with it, but I could definitely talk.
In New York, it's just incredibly helpful.
Oh, yeah,
to
definitely.
just understand what's going on.
In every aspect, whether it's understanding other people's languages or how they
Sure.
are,
Exactly.
or from like the ghetto grooming you to be stronger, for life, or just everyday, struggling but surviving. Struggling.
Absolutely.
That's
It's-
what make me, appreciate and love representing my city and especially my neighborhood.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so, talking about watching AAA, who were some people that were when you first caught on to that were impactful to you? You were like, wow, I love this guy.
Man, a whole bunch of people, man. Sad to say, majority of them are gone now.
Yeah.
But Super Porky,
Hey.
Charlie Manson, Ricky Banderas.
Damn. I remember you talking about him in the car. How he
Moving
was.
to, man, I grew up loving Ricky Banderas, Vampiro,
Sure.
a little bit of Conan, but that's old school. Pero Iguayo, Liz Mark Jr., his father Liz Mark.
Yeah, man.
Whole bunch of old school guys, man. And because of my dad, now I'm so overall good because I knew that style already. When I started training, and it was a predominantly lucha based place where I first started at. I caught on everything naturally. It was like I was meant to do it, and
Sure.
I like to thank my dad because just watching that and understanding it.
He set that foundation
Yes,
for you.
definitely.
And then when did it click in your head that pro wrestling's something that you want to try to learn and achieve in?
I like to thank Amazing Red for that because I didn't think I could make it, even though I was busting all these flashy moves out, learning cool things on my first week.
Yeah.
You know, but not knowing how to put a wrist lock or, you know, chain wrestling. Amazing Red, when I first got Amazing Red's respect a little bit, or I feel like I've earned his respect a little bit.
Sure.
That's when I knew like I could take this, you know, for real now. Like I could be serious with it.
And how long ago was that?
Truth be told, like last year, before High Intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it clicked for you.
Everything clicked, definitely. Everything clicked, man. And to have somebody like Amazing Red's respect a little bit, or just being mentored by him.
Sure.
You know, I wouldn't have never thought in a million years that you know, I could be around somebody as talented and creative as him. And I never took wrestling serious, to be honest, up until I got to him. Of course, I respected everything, the business, but my love and respect grew more for it once I got to him.
Once you and Red connected.
Yeah, and it's weird because I connected with him just like with me and you. We just,
quickly.
Our love for old school Japanese wrestling and lucha libre.
Yeah, me just talking to him now. Like, obviously, I've spoken to him before.
Yeah.
But in this aspect, it's, you know, I've spoken to him when a show was happening at Adrenaline and on Instagram a bit. And has so much knowledge.
Yeah, definitely.
And just speaking to him here at the school in his element, it's just it's stuff that you don't forget
At all. Never.
It's just, and he's one of those people that, like, especially in the wrestling business, I've learned quickly in doing this show, especially hunting for guests and talent and stuff like that, and then getting to a point where the talent comes to me, and it's just I learned that a lot of people are full of shit. A lot of people will tell you one thing and do another. A lot of people will say, I'll call you at 9 p.m. and then never call. Or a lot
of gas you up.
Yeah. So I've been there. So I don't take anything too serious. If we're like with this, anything could have happened. But, you know, Matt's a stand-up guy and he made it happen.
Yeah, I told you from day one, I even before you got clout, congratulations, by the way, on, you know, building your platform, you know.
Sure, man.
And I always knew you was going to be here. Remember, I tell you,
you told me
be
that.
On the radio. You're definitely.
You told me that.
You got that voice for it and the respect and
I
love
should have
for
took Sam Roberts out on Saturday. I had that barbed wire baseball bat in the trunk. We could have made it work.
Yeah. So I like to think that me and Red click because of how we are as men, grown men at that, not just as regular human beings.
Yeah.
He's a genuine, down-to-earth human being, and I'm like that as well because of my dad. My dad is a down-to-earth, you know, real man. And he always taught me, you know, don't lie and, you know, try to be as stand-up as you can because there's not enough stand-up people in this world. Especially in this world now, everybody's just, you know, selfish and, you know, inconsiderate of others. And it's a horrible world we live in now. But because of my dad and Amazing Red, I like to think that I'm a better person. My father... Not saying he's a goody two-shoes and be stand. I've seen my father make a lot of mistakes, and my father's flat out crazy. That's why I like to think I'm crazy, but my father is the foundation, the reason why I'm
You are crazy, Matt.
And I accept it because at a young age, the reason why I could watch those gore videos and stuff like that is because my dad, he used to have a bunch of them laying around.
Faces of Death.
Faces of Death. Terrorist killers in the Middle East wackos. I could go on for days.
I know. I've heard you.
TV.
I've heard you go on for a day, Matt.
And it was because of my dad, and you know, I'll pop a VHS tape in, and then I'll see somebody's head get blown off, and I'll be shocked. And you know, my dad would be like, "Look, this is not cartoons," and he hated me watching cartoons and stuff. He always showed me news. World news, the wars.
He wanted you to be more based in reality.
Yes. Not know, you know, this is watch cartoon. Like I would like to think that he didn't take my innocence away, but it made me grow up more faster.
Sure, I mean, so that's why look at you now.
Yeah, so when I speak to you and you always say, you know, you're wise for your age.
For 23.
Yeah, it's because of my dad, man. All that stuff I was already aware of at the age of like 12, 10 years old.
Sure.
You know? That's why I feel like I got away when it comes to the gang culture and the streets. I feel like I got away from all that craziness because I could have been a part of it, but I feel like my dad smartened me up to all that stuff, and I got away, like lucky, without snitching, without all this crazy stuff, you know.
Just transitioned away on your own.
Walked off, yeah.
And I mean, I know a ton of people who just can't. They can't.
Get away.
They can't get away, whether it's lack of family at home and they feel like they need a different type of family, which they look towards, you know, being in the streets or in gangs and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that love.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big thing.
Yeah,
but to see you transition away and find a constructive love in wrestling and a new family in the people at House of Glory, it's just I really feel like it's like a story that needs to be documented, and that's why, you know, you said this to me. Well, Ken's not gonna be here. You sure you want to do it? And I was like, bro, I want you here, because although you might not get it, you as a person and what you've been through is incredibly impactful to others who may be going through something similar, caught up in the streets, not knowing where to go, wanting to be better, but being stuck. Yeah. You know,
and I appreciate hearing that, man.
Yeah, and you, for lack of a better term, you pulled the trigger in a different way. Definitely. In changing your life. Yeah, and I respect. That's why when we talk, you know, I take you at your word and you take me at mine.
Of course, yeah.
And whenever I can help or support you guys, I do, and you do it right back for me.
Always, man.
And there are not a lot of people who operate in that fashion, especially people your age.
Yeah.
You know, like me and Red, we're just talking, and we can connect because we're in that same time frame and mentality. But although you're 23, you have the brain of 35, and I think Red gets that. And it's just talking to you. It's just you're beyond your time, and that's awesome. You know, yeah. I wish my body didn't feel 33. It's coming in. This is what you get for recording on the streets of Queens.
We're legit in the streets of Queens.
Doorway.
And I think that's why I get to connect with all the older people, you know, like it's a whole bunch of people I spoke to and I could relate to them, or we just understand each other like a low key. Like I could talk to Low Key or Homicide. Like other than wrestling, I could legit talk to those guys and they give me the business or just like life lessons, you know.
Sure.
Or I was in a carpool with Stan Hansen, Triple Crown, former All Japan Triple Crown champion, you know.
That's so amazing.
That guy's what, in his 60s?
Yep.
Late 60s? And I like to believe, you know, I could relate to anybody, older, young. And by the way, we was listening to Travis Scott with Stan Hansen in the car. And he was jamming.
Was he vibing, though?
He was vibing with us. I still can't believe it, man. But talking to him about just life things, you know, asking him questions, you know. And understanding him and him understanding us, you know. It's just crazy how my dad groomed me to understand all types of life or whatever, or different walks of life.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a testament to, like you said, to your upbringing, where you're able to understand that Stan is in a complete different life situation than you, but you were able to find the avenue that you connect with him, which is professional wrestling.
Yes, all the way.
And you were able to have a conversation that you'll never forget, you know.
Definitely.
You telling me about, you know, oh, we were listening to Travis Scott, he was jamming, but you also told me that you were asking him a ton of questions.
Oh yeah, of course.
And that's stuff that he might talk about on a daily basis, or maybe he hasn't been asked that question in 10 years.
No, longer than 10 years, because when I was asking him questions, it wasn't even questions more so about pro wrestling. It was just like, just conversating with him, you know? Like, we have this legend in the car. Why not, you know, just soak all this information and knowledge in from a legit living legend, you know? Especially while he's alive, because a lot of people like appreciating people when they're dead and gone.
Yeah.
You know,
which is upsetting.
And that's horrible, especially for people my age, because they'll rather be like wait until somebody died and then be like, oh, I appreciated
He
their
was
art.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. He was, you know, a throwback, or he was past his, way ahead of his time and stuff like that. I'm not like that. I show people their love and their respect right then and there.
In the now.
Because I feel like I'm an artist.
I do. I
feel
agree.
like I create art, whether it's like with fashion, like making my own designs, or like, you know, my other background, which I'll talk about later on in life.
Sure.
You know, doing DVDs and stuff like that for people. But where I was going with this?
I don't know, man.
I lost my train of thought.
It's that people are walking by and doors are opening.
Yeah. No,
that's what happens.
And just how I am as a person, man. My mind, I have a million things going through my mind that I just be in like one topic and then I move on to 20 other 20 other things, you know.
That is the best way to describe Matt Travis.
Me, all the way.
Being in the car for a total of like 6 hours with you, it was just I've never heard somebody talk. But it's like some people just talk and it's like, shut the fuck up, you know? and there's not a moment when Matt's talking that I'm like, yo, shut up, because it's all stuff that's either it varies from him being a funny dude or being insightful on pro wrestling, or, you know, just us joking around and cracking jokes and clowning on
Charles
people.
Manson.
Talking about Charles Manson. Yeah, that's when we have to cut him off. Once we got the serial killers and the weird stuff and his dark web searches.
Oh yeah, deep web. Yeah, I forgot about that, man.
The deep web.
No, but the thing is, though, people look at them. I love this quote by Charles Manson. He said, "If you look at me straight, you see yourself. If you look me under or whatever, you see a bum, and if you look highly at me, you see a god."
Sure.
So little things like that is like, wow, you know, everybody deem him insane. You know, he's the poster child for insanity.
Sure.
And this guy, when you listen to his ramblings and crazy talk, he actually makes sense.
Well, why do you think he had such a huge following?
That's what I'm saying. So I love people like that, you know, and just like trying to understand people like that, you know, is just wild. Like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Sure.
When Jeffrey Dahmer was talking about the people that he slaughtered or whatever. He said he didn't get that love from his family. So the people who he hurt, he had some type of love connect, and it was intriguing to me because it's like, damn, you know, what was the cause of that? Yeah. And he's saying is not getting love from your father or mother and crazy stuff like that.
And that's what made him act a certain way. And it's just crazy that things that we might deal with on a different on a daily basis can turn somebody else into a crazy offshoot.
A whole different like direction. Like when you just opened up about your dad, you know, it could have been you, but
I could have went off on some other wild track. Instead, I decided to be a respectable human being.
Yeah, a good Samaritan.
Sure, man. I guess if some shit was going on right now, I don't know how good of a Samaritan I would be. I'd probably just hop in the whip and drive home.
Am I crazy? I'd probably jump in it.
Yeah.
Like
I would not be surprised.
I'll give you a perfect example over here. All right, so right across the street over here, right?
Sure.
A bunch of drunk men, they see Ken walking by himself, and then Ken was, I think, talking to me, but I was far, and they thought Ken was
talking shit
by himself. No, by himself. So they tried to jump Ken, and I ran up on them. But like, I'm talking about like on some,
oh no,
like some gang stuff. And it was me and my boy Sasha Jenkins. Shout out to my boy Sasha Jenkins. We ran up on them, and they got shook.
Why would you jump Ken?
Yeah, but why would you jump him, man?
He's like a big dude.
Big dude.
And then you see little ass Matt Travis running up.
Ain't that funny? It should have been the opposite, but 9 out of 10 times it's always like that. Like, we take this stuff serious, and what we show y'all is really us. This ghetto strong style stuff.
Absolutely.
We embrace it because, you know, we're just shedding light to that lifestyle, man. Like,
yeah, it's there. A lot of people try to ignore that it's there.
Yeah. Or not even a lot of people like to what's that word, man? They like making money off of it, and they're not really from the hood. There's a lot of people
monetize.
They
try and monetize from the hood lifestyle, but in actuality, they know
like
nothing
hip-hop
about
right now
it.
is so
Especially hip hop.
There's the word. Exploit. Hip hop right now is so exploited.
Absolutely.
That it's people who didn't go through nothing, and they could rap about, oh yeah, I used to sell drugs, and my mom was a whatever,
this and
then
that.
They live in the mansion. They always lived in the mansion, or their mom always had money, and they never had life problems, and you know, things like that. When I'm really going through, you know, things as growing up,
and you live in it,
and we're living it. but they're making money off of it, and we're just stuck in the neighborhood. We stuck in the hood.
Yeah, and that happened with me. Like when I was growing up, I connected with rap music. I live in a decent area. I'm sure.
But it's different with people like you because you actually love the art.
Oh, of
and
course.
That's one thing I always respected, and this is why I got love for you as a friend.
Yeah, of course.
You have love for the art. A lot of people nowadays, they do not respect.
Nah.
They don't pay homage. They don't honor. They don't.
They're all out for self. There's so many people that I talk to, and it's like, what can you do for me? And I'm just like, what can I do for us? Like, what can
the culture?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
and that's why I'm always rooting for you because you always big me and Ken up, man, in Red and House of Glory, and that's why I like to do the same for people like you because I know. It's not for me, and I'm not shouting you out so I could get a shout out or be on your podcast. Because honestly, I wasn't trying to do nobody's podcast to talk to nobody.
I know.
If it wasn't you or
Sam Roberts,
not even Sam Roberts, I think, man. Like,
fuck
if
him.
It wasn't somebody I really respect. I didn't say that.
I'm just joking.
If it wasn't, for you or a friend or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's no reason to talk to you about my story or history or my love for this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, what your intentions are with using our little. The reason why I love talking to you is because you honestly have that genuine love and passion for this, and you're not even a professional wrestler. You're not even.
I'm not.
You're not even. Not even a worker.
I'm not.
You have more passion than me than a lot of people that I've already met and they're wrestling, and they're kind of known names at that. So that makes it bad for them.
It is what it is. I would love to see more passion in professional wrestling. I think that there's a young crop of guys with obviously you and Ken and the House of Glory whole school in general is leading the charge on a reinvigorated, passionate bunch of, I don't want to call you guys rookies, but you know what I mean, young in the game,
Rookies.
And it's exciting to see that. Also, I see people at CZW with a lot of young kids who have passion, and CZW right now they're doing their best to transition away from what people may think they are and trying to shed some light on what they actually are. And they've really been gathering up a lot of talent that's non-wrestling talent, like people like John Carlo, who is
awesome, man. His
out of this world.
Damn,
his
man.
mind and the thing is that the guy, he loves to work in professional wrestling, but he doesn't watch that much professional wrestling,
which is good.
But he understands people, he understands emotion, he understands how to get people to connect. And you think about how special Once in a Lifetime was. It was a lot of his doing with some of those videos.
That man, he's so dope.
He's a gifted individual. What's going on? All right. I can't tell you who just walked by, but he just walked by.
John Carlo, man. I like calling him Monte Carlo, right?
Monte Carlo. The whole car ride home, Matt called him Monte Carlo.
That's a car, though. That's an expensive car.
I know it is. And I talked to my wife. I told her that. She was like, but that is a dope name. No.
It is.
So
honestly,
if John ever decided to become a worker, his work name would be Monte Carlo.
With John Carlo, man, I love and respect his work because his visuals is like out of this world.
Yeah.
It's like, I like how when Kanye West say, he feel like he's like Disney and Picasso and all of them.
Sure.
He's not saying he's just as good as them. What he's trying to say is he has that vision that nobody could see, that third eye into, just colors and just crazy stuff that makes it your art dope. And I feel like John Carlo, you got that. Amazing Red has that third eye. A lot of people. My boy Joe K got that third eye.
Absolutely.
John Carlo is so dope, and I love his work because of that, man. Because it's like it's different. Everybody want to do the same. Put a camera in front of your face and just talk trash. You could curse, call somebody out, and that's it. End of story.
Yep.
No, man, wrestling is way bigger than that, man. Like, my love for Japanese pro wrestling is because, like, you could see a Jushin Thunder Liger, a straight out of a comic book character.
Absolutely.
And then you could go from him to a Great Muta.
Yeah. Who is another over-the-top character, and then you look at somebody like Minoru Suzuki.
And then you could go to Dangerous K, Kawada.
Yeah.
And then you could go to a Masawa.
And they're all different.
but they have that thing that makes them, that art, that
absolutely,
that dopeness about them.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that is definitely what is missing with pro wrestling nowadays.
Yeah.
And Giancarlo got that formula down pat.
He does, yeah. I like to think of it as also with John that he's been very good at giving me advice, and he knows what he can't do.
Yeah.
And so many people, like for me, it's like I was at a point where I was like, I want to do everything. I want to do this. I want to, you know, I want to make the show the best I can make it. I want to get the biggest guests on. I also want to start designing T-shirts. I also want to start doing web design and stuff like that. And I was just like, this is a lot to be doing.
Yeah.
It's not my full-time job.
And it's cool because, you know, pro wrestling is a legit big sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's legit a gamble. And that's why I like to think that me and Ken are meant for this business, because, you know, our whole life was a gamble, you know?
Yeah.
Just stepping outside of your building 2 a.m. to go to the store is a major gamble.
I felt like I was gambling when it was 3 a.m. and we were dropping Ken and Matt
No, you
off.
dropping me off in Harlem.
We dropped Kenny off, and then we dropped Matt off, and I had to go pop the trunk, and I'm like, this is it for me. Like,
we saw people about to fight.
Yep. I'm just like,
there was a lot of people outside, and I even said, like, dang, I haven't saw a lot of people outside at this time
at 3 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And Steve was like, where are we? And I'm just like, Steve, just drive,
Just
man.
roll the road.
Yeah, just go. And we got young boy Jack in the back who's like, this is cool, man.
Yeah.
And he's 18.
I like him.
Yeah, and he's just like, this is cool, man.
Yeah.
And I'm just,
they get to see our world, you know, so they get to appreciate
like,
it.
I've been out there and in there before, and thankfully I was able to transition away.
Yeah.
And you know, it's one of those things where, like, I know what can happen. Jack has no idea what can happen.
They don't know. In a split second, things could get ugly, real ugly.
Yep.
You know, and but that's what make, you know, us beautiful. You know, that's what make that's what make us unique.
Absolutely.
And survivors and strong and just warriors, man.
I would say, why do you think you work so hard?
Yeah, that's why we work hard. That's why we put all this work into, you know, professional wrestling. And because, man, like I said, I would never think in a million years I would be able to even talk to somebody on a podcast, like, you know, especially with you.
Yeah.
Or being around a bunch of talented people in my life, man. I grew up around drug dealers, killers, friends that I would never see ever again in life because they locked up for killing somebody else. And just ridiculous stuff, man. And they young. Like, most of these people are my age.
Your
you know?
age, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and
crazy.
Friends being cut in the face. Even me, I went through mad stuff like getting jumped and almost, you know, getting jumped to death.
Yeah, man.
And
that's wild.
Getting shot at house parties, and we don't know if we're gonna make it out.
I'm
you know,
about to say,
you know, crazy stuff,
wild.
man.
People don't realize it, and it truly does make you a survivor. It makes you work harder. It makes you appreciate every day.
Yes, it does.
You know, he comes to this, you know, no secret, we're at the House of Glory School right now, and I see, although he's not working hard right now, but before this, Matt's in there working hard, you know, like it's day one. And I was speaking to Red earlier, and he says, I want to make superstars. I want to make people grow, and I want to push them to be the best that they can be. And it's not just about being the hot indie star.
Nope.
You know, because they come and go.
Yes, they do.
And why do you think Red's been here for forever? He's a draw. He's an influencer. The style that everybody wants to copy right now is
all of
amazing.
That.
Red.
He don't get the homage or the respect I feel like he deserves.
Yeah.
This man, aside from Sabu and Liger, Eddie Guerrero, Benoit, aside from those guys, I think Amazing Red is really up there top 5 or top 10. Like, this guy, to me, one of the greatest of all time, man. And that's why it's an honor to be one of his, you know, his students, because it's like we're keeping that legacy going on.
Absolutely.
You know? And I feel like he deserved the world, man. And I always tell him, man, forget about us. Just go get signed, man. But he legit, man, he's putting his in.
He's invested in
He's
this.
invested in us, man. And especially he's invested in me and Ken a lot. You know, he might not agree with some of the things we've done, like jump Leo Rush and all this crazy stuff, talk trash about Leo Rush, and
jumping on my podcast and acting a fool. Wasn't the biggest fan of that.
buying what they call that, buying a
It is very true. Matt and Ken
bought a commercial.
purchased some airtime on the Spotlight series just to get their point across.
Yeah, we threw him a couple of hundreds, and he was with it, man.
Yeah.
Leo.
Matt signed. He's a sponsored athlete for the Spotlight series now. He's the first ever signed sponsored athlete. So don't forget that.
Just have my $5,000 in the check, and I'm pretty straight.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's in the mail.
In the mail. Have it in check form though.
Have it in check form. I wish more fans would understand of what you guys put on the line every day. The sacrifice of being here, the sacrifice of when you get into the ring at High Intensity 6, which is coming up this Saturday.
But going back to Amazing Red, like I was saying, the greatest all time, man, and he's up there for a lot of reasons, man. And I just feel like he needs more respect, man.
Absolutely.
A lot of people love stealing from him, but they don't like paying him homage. Like, I got this from Amazing Red.
How many people do the code red?
Not even just the code red, man. You gotta think, just everything. His Spanish Fly, his whole moveset. Basically, the whole Cruiserweight Classic that WWE did. The first match I watched, and I had to force myself to watch it because he was supposed to be on it.
I know.
Fortunately, he got hurt.
It was hard for everybody, you know, and I can't imagine for somebody like you, obviously, Red, you were a big part of him getting ready. And I think that the homage would have came if he would have participated.
Oh my God, man! But the world they don't even know, man. They don't know. The world don't know. So I had to force myself to watch it, and it was like the Amazing Red show, man. It was just every move from just simple, regular moves that Red is known for to his signatures and finishes. Yeah, I was just like, damn, man. I just ain't. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Especially given the circumstances, it was difficult.
Very difficult. And
but the thing is that from what I've seen and what everybody will see at High Intensity 6 is that Red is back. Red is ready.
Better than ever.
Better than ever, in amazing shape. And he's ready to display his art for the world once again.
'Cause that's all it is, man. It's just beautiful art.
Yeah,
the art of kicking people. That's why we call ourselves Murdered by Kicks. Not because we wear nice Jordans and Nikes and stuff like that, but the art of the science of just kicking somebody and knocking them out. Like, I don't know if you've seen, but when we set up that kick for Smiley at CZW Once in a Lifetime, Ken legit knocked him silly. Legit.
With the last one?
That roundhouse kick.
Oh, the first one.
That was legit. And it was so bad that I heard the thud, and I felt the wind
no leg slap.
Face. No leg slaps. We don't do none of that. Straight roundhouse kick to his bean, and he was out of it. He's out of it already, but he was more out of it.
Yeah, man. But like I said, Matt, perfect, man. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to come out and show love to everybody who's working. They're working so hard here. And that, you know, I'm not the guy who's going to come here and break news and spread the word that I'm here and take pictures and shit like that. But I will go in and shake everyone's hand. They're working so hard, and I'm thankful for the time. I'm thankful for you asking Red and Brian to have me out here. Yeah. And from a year ago, just think about it, man. I didn't know you from nowhere.
It felt like forever, man.
You know? I didn't know you from anywhere. I didn't have this going, but a year later, we're in a completely different space. I have somebody who I like to and will call a friend, and whatever you need, Matt, you know I'll do.
For sure, I appreciate
from whatever.
That. And vice versa as well, man.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
We didn't cover a lot of things. This is just what I just told you was just minuscule of the road stories and and the crazy stuff, man.
Yes, he's a firm believer of non-cruelty to animals.
Non-cruelty to animals. I with my check that I get paid from House of Glory, I send it to Animal Foundation, the wildlife
preserve.
Yeah,
the WWF.
The WWF. I send my checks to them.
There you go. The real WWF.
They send me a picture of a tiger. No, legit. I'm dead serious.
Is it real?
I'm dead serious. My father. And because of him, I donate sometimes. And they send me a picture of this lion that I adopted, basically.
Oh my God.
So I adopted a legit lion. They sent me a plush toy and everything.
You're like Scarface.
I'm like Scarface, yeah. I like to think when I get more money.
He has a pet lion.
I like to think when I get more money, I'm gonna own a bunch of lions and monkeys and stuff.
Oh my God!
Have the life,
remember
man.
that dude in Harlem that had an alligator in his house?
In Harlem, yeah.
Yeah, didn't it like bite him?
No, it didn't. They found 2 lions or tigers.
He had a tiger,
and he groomed them from they were baby.
And I remember the tiger bit him. And then he went to the hospital, and they were like, he was like, "Oh, a dog bit me." And they
Yeah.
were like, "That's not a dog
No,
bite."
but you know how he got caught? He didn't get caught because of that.
No.
The urine from the tigers soaked through the people who was living.
floorboards?
Yeah, through the
Yeah.
floorboards. So the people who was living under him, they were getting all that.
Damn.
So they
called like whatever
they called probably,
sanitation.
like, sanitation or
and
the animal
he's got
people.
grown fucking tigers.
And the crazy part, off of pro wrestling, I got a friendship with Frank Lucas, the American gangster.
Oh my god!
You seen him?
I've seen pictures of this.
I can't believe
Matt
it.
will randomly send me a picture of him with Frank Lucas, and I'm just like, "What is going
Smoking
on?"
cigars.
And he goes, "Do you know who this is?" And I'm like, "It's Frank fucking Lucas,
Yeah.
American gangster." Of course, I know who it is.
Yeah, and we just randomly, like me and you, we just clicked because him talking about all the money he made, I was like, damn, I wish it was like that. Because if it was like that, man, I would not be doing professional wrestling.
Yeah, the world is a little different now.
Lucky, but yeah,
Matt, again, thank you.
yeah, always, bro.
You know we're gonna do this again once
We have to, because
once somebody else decides to show up.
and you know it's crazy. It gets more wild with this guy, man.
Yeah.
Legit, yeah.
Does he even talk?
Yes, he does.
Does he?
If you have the right amount of money for him, he'll talk.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ken. I'm broke. Tell the people where they can find Matt Travis on social media, please.
They can find me on social media: Facebook, Matt Travis; Twitter, Matt 3_Travis; Instagram, Matt 3_Travis. And hey, don't be afraid to talk, man.
Yes, Matt is a great person to talk professional wrestling with. If
Or serial killers too.
or that too, not for me, but just reach out and just talk about wrestling. Like that's all it is. And he loves to talk wrestling.
If it's not money, wrestling, women, fashion,
Yeah.
sneakers, serial killers.
He's a wealth of knowledge and always fun to talk to. And as you guys can see right now, so once again, Matt, thank you.
Yeah, always. We're out.